Hey everyone, Rob from Southgate Media Group here. Before we get started with this podcast, we have a quick message. If this is your first time checking out the show, we love that you found us and we really hope you enjoy it. What we have to say is for the subscribers. If you enjoy our shows, would you please donate to help keep these going? We don't want to have to put traditional ads on these shows, but this does cost money. So we really do rely heavily on donations. To make a donation to the show, please go to our website, www.southgatemediagroup.com. Go to the page for the show, and in the upper right-hand corner is a donate button. It takes you right to PayPal, and you can donate whatever amount you want. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. And now, on with the show. Welcome to the Input Junkie podcast here live at the Blue Box. It's December, what is it, the 20th? Yes. Yeah, so it's almost Christmas. So we're doing a Christmas-themed Input Junkie.
Woo!
I think we did one last year.
I need jingle bells.
It might be the same stuff we talk about. Who cares? Christmas is awesome, right, guys? Woo! All right, so we should introduce ourselves real quickly. I'm Rob Southgate, my co-host tonight.
Kathy Leibinger.
And then a cast of thousands joining in with us as co-hosts.
Po.
It's kind of a weird way to put it. Okay, Kathy, let's talk Christmas a little bit. Do you want to start? Do you have an input you want to talk about? We're gonna do it a little differently. Usually we talk about inputs we've had from the week,
Right.
Christmas is an ongoing thing.
Oh yes.
So I think we should focus on like favorite. Let's do favorite Christmas. What do you want to do? Movies?
Well, okay, here's a tradition that we had growing up. So there were 5 kids in our family, and my mom got wise to us early on that we would kind of go under the tree and start snooping for gifts. So when we were, I don't know, my brother and I were in like middle school, high school. No, it was probably middle school. My mom would not put names on any of the packages. She would number them 1 through 5. But your number changed every year, and you didn't know what it was. You had no idea what number you were. And so you could snoop all you want, but you had no idea what you were looking at. There were a couple mix-ups once when my little brother.
There had to be a few. I mean, you've got a brother in there. You got 2
I
brothers.
got 2 brothers.
So I have a feeling there were things that.
I remember there was the one year that
Colin got My Little Pony that year.
No, Barbie. He got a Barbie. Cammy got like a Superman or something like that, and Colin got the Barbie. She mixed up the numbers.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Doesn't sound like your mom at all.
No, not. Have you met her? And then one year, Carl wanted a watch with an alarm. It was like right when they started having those alarm watch and stuff, and she was playing with it before she wrapped it. And like 3-4 days before Christmas, there's this beeping coming from under the tree. And so, he was trying to be the nice son, and he said, I know what number I am. And she got really mad and said, "You've been snooping under the tree." And he went and he took the package. He's like, "No, it's beeping. It's either a bomb or my watch, so figure it out." So there were a couple mishaps. And then there was one year that one of my sisters, who I will remain nameless because, I don't want to rat her out, Cammie. She wanted her own, thank you, Molly. She wanted her own phone. She was probably, 8th grade or something like that. And we had a teen line in the bedrooms and stuff, and she wanted her own phone. And my mom had gotten it and wrapped it and put it under the tree with a number on it.
Okay.
And then Cammie did something and got grounded or whatever, and my mom took it and put it back on the shelf for the next year.
Get out.
Yeah, and then the next year.
So mean.
It was. Whatever. So my mom brought the package out next year and changed the number or something, but the wrapping paper was the wrapping paper from the year before. So Cammie's like, yeah, duh. I know what that is.
Well, wait. So she had wrapping paper, the same wrapping paper, each year she changed the wrapping
Well, of
paper?
Course. She always, yeah.
So you bought one roll?
No, my house, no. She bought 20 rolls and went through all of them.
But it was the same color?
No. It was just, but, every year. I know. Well, that's you. Seasonal.
How did she know it was last year's?
Because it was the wrapping paper my mom had used the year before.
So she got different, she got 20 rolls, she got 20 different
rolls.
Oh,
yeah, everything. Was, yeah. You had no idea what was going on in that household.
You know
we never knew what was going on in that household. Most of the time, Christmas
house.
was just another level of madness.
Yeah, no.
So that's it, yeah. You're getting your gifts and not really. Oh, and then the other thing, Can we talk about all the traditions at once, or should I save them?
I think maybe you're filibustering. Maybe we could have other
I
people
can filibuster, yeah, whatever.
No, I'm kidding. I'm
Okay.
kidding. Go ahead. Let's hear another
So
one.
then to find your number, she would put your stocking at the end of your bed at night. Well, sorry, Santa would put your stocking at the end of the bed in the morning or at night so that when you woke up, there was your stocking, and it had like little gifts in it with the numbers so that you knew that that was your number. But she would also put things...
So that even had the number system.
Yes. Usually it worked.
Okay.
And then... but she would also put things in there to keep us occupied in our bedrooms so we wouldn't go snoop out under the tree. So, like, we'd get scratch-off lottery tickets, which, of course, if we won, she'd have to claim because we weren't old enough. She'd buy, like, the National Enquirer. She bought bubble wrap one year and stuffed all our stockings with bubble wrap, and we couldn't come out until we popped, like, every little square.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was kind of fun. So we had a good
Actually,
time.
it reminds me, this isn't my memory, which most of mine aren't. My memories are all like, one time my
Your parents are here. Be careful.
Yeah. Mine are all going to be like Happy Days, things like that.
Right.
But when you said the thing about the bubble wrap, Martha
Oh, gosh.
got in her stocking one year Listerine.
Oh.
And-
Oh, my God. Hold on.
Busted
Interjection
out.
from Martha. All right.
Okay. I am one of 9 children.
Yes.
Okay.
Which one?
I'm the 8th. And so I have 6 older sisters and an older brother. And one year we pull out our stockings, and I was a teenager, and my dad gave me an industrial-sized Listerine. And I was mortified because everybody started laughing and was making fun of me. And I said, no, see, I get it. I use his every morning, and it drives him crazy. So he wanted me to have my own, but I go, Dad, really? You couldn't have just done that tomorrow or any other time? You had to do it in front of everybody? So they all assumed it was because he thinks I smell. But it was truly just that I overstepped my boundaries and went into the bathroom, and their bathroom, and used all of his Listerine because I was a self-conscious teenager.
As I said, my memories are not my own. So I have one that it's not a tradition or anything. I just, as we're talking about like these memories, I'm going to start with an awesome one that is going to connect with many of the men in this room, I have a feeling. In 1978, so it's in 77, Star Wars came out.
And you were 10 because we were both 10.
Yes.
Because our birthdays are
Yeah,
exactly
we had
the same
birthday.
day.
So that Christmas, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but for Star Wars toys in 77, they had not come out yet. It was one of these things that was like, it's coming. And Sears,
Oh my God, Santa! I knew him!
Wait, what?
there's a Santa outside. All right, so back to the story
Back
for
to
the
the
men in
story.
the room. So 77, Star Wars comes out. At that Christmas, Star Wars toys, which we know is a huge thing, was not out yet. So Sears did a thing where you could go into Sears and you could order the first 12 Star Wars figures. And when you ordered it, I think you ordered 2. You got a base and a back cardboard piece. And then like 4 months later, this like figure showed up, and it was like, oh, I got Luke! It's the greatest thing ever. Now that's not my memory. It's the next Christmas. Now Star Wars toys have hit in a big bad way. There's just tons of Star Wars toys out there.
Okay.
I'm an only child. My dad is a child. He bought everything. 1978, I got every Star Wars toy on the market.
And you still have them all,
So
don't
when
you?
we talk, I do have those. So when we talk about like great Star Wars memories, Christmas memories, it was 77 was a big one, but 78, that was unbelievable. It was every Star Wars toy. And then it happened again in 79. I was an only child where I got all of those, plus I got an 18-inch Alien toy. Yes! How awesome! So there we go.
There you go.
Yeah. So the tradition is buy me lots of stuff.
Well,
Buy me
always.
toys.
I have a question, Rob, because I experienced this as a child. With your dad loving the toys just as much, did you actually get to do the assembly required part yourself? Or did they disappear and come back with all the stickers on them and together like mine did?
All right. Well, my dad's in the room, so I'm going to be abusive here. Actually, no. I think that most of the assembly required stuff we kind of did together. I really don't remember that. But my dad paints like military miniatures and like he's into that whole thing. If you ever see the 40-Year-Old Virgin, you remember how he paints the little miniatures? That's my dad. Except
Your dad's a 40-year-old virgin.
if you hadn't met my mom. If he hadn't met my mom and instead of drums he played baritone, that was my dad.
That's it, okay.
He would have worked in the electronics store too. Anyway, he would get me things like the year E.T. came out. He found this E.T. toy. It was a little plastic E.T. So he buys this little E.T. and I open it up. I'm like, oh, cool, because I love action figures and toys. And he's like, I'm going to paint that to make it look like E.T. It is still in his basement, unpainted with a little primer on the side. And if I ask him about it, he will say, "Oh yeah, I'm working on that."
Wait, how old were you when he got that for you?
Yeah, and my mom just busted him out. The one year when I was in high school, he found lead. You know the lead soldiers? It's the same kind of thing that he would paint. Well, he found the Beatles. They were the Help guys, where their arms are up from the album Help. Immediately, I don't even think I touched the box. I think it was one of these, like, I opened the wrap and he goes, oh, wait, I'm going to paint those for you. Okay.
Did you ever get them?
No. They got stripped, and I think they were primed, and then they sat on his shelf. And honest to God, about 2 weeks ago, I brought it up. Okay? And I said, hey, Dad, remember those Beatles figures that you got? And he goes, yeah. I was just working on them the other day.
That's awesome.
So I'm expecting, what is it, the 20th? I'm expecting in 5 days to finally have my Beatles figures completely painted.
Hold
Think
your
it'll
breath.
happen, Dad? I don't think that's going to happen. So, yeah, did I get to assemble? Sure. Did I get to paint or play with? No, sir.
But as your daughter pointed out, did your parents ever open up your toys and play with them and drain the batteries before you actually gave them to the child?
No. That is...
That is a Martha-ism.
Yeah, so, Molly, do you want to tell that one? Where's Molly at?
Molly.
Oh, nope, she has disappeared for a moment. We'll let her tell that story when she comes back.
Awesome.
And then Martha's in the room and she can get busted out on this. Does anybody have any other memories they'd like to share before we go on? Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So.
We'll make
All
her
right.
hold up fingers and tell us what it is when she gets back.
Okay, so here's a...
Well, wait, I want to see. Does anyone in the audience
Okay,
want to say
okay.
anything? Anyone have a good memory they want to bring up?
Or
before we
bad.
jump on
You
to
know,
other
we're
things?
equal opportunity.
I have one here.
All right.
Ah, here he comes.
This one's just weird, but I like to.
That's so surprising.
Yes, me telling a weird story. So, I also figured out at a fairly young age where my parents hid the Christmas gifts, and it might have been in the ceiling in their closet. But anyway,
It might have been in my dad's drum
Might have
room.
been.
yeah, but I think they got wise at one point and they started wrapping them early. And I grew up in the country and I was getting old enough where I wanted guns. I wanted pellet guns, whatnot. And there was one Christmas where I found the wrapping and I knew it was a gun and I was all excited. And I felt there were these two cylindrical, kind of about this, 2-3 inch long tubes wrapped on the packaging. I could feel them. And I thought they were shotgun shells. So I thought
You're like a
I was
12-year-old getting a shotgun.
Yeah, I thought
You'll
I was
shoot
11
your
years
eye
old
out,
and
kid.
getting a shotgun.
That's
and I was,
awesome.
for 2 weeks, it was all I could do not to say something for my parents.
Hey,
I was
Ward,
so
you'll shoot your
excited.
eye
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, you'll shoot
and
your eye out.
other things. If
Was
you
it
get
a genuine
shotgun.
Red Ryder or
And of course,
carbine
it
action?
ended up being like a Red Ryder pump BB
Yeah,
gun.
carbine
so,
action, 200
Well, yeah,
shot
because those
automatic
cartridges were full of the little BB
yeah,
things,
and
right?
I didn't know that. The only BBs I'd ever seen were in the little plastic
Yeah,
flip
these
open
were the-
containers, like pellets come in.
Right.
I was so disappointed, and my parents, I think, to this day, still don't understand why, when I opened the BB gun, I was like almost crying disappointed because I thought I was going to be an 11-year-old with
Tears
a
of joy.
shotgun.
Just tell them tears of joy.
I
Tears of
think
joy.
that's the movie we're going to have to work out is 11-year-old with a shotgun. There's a movie called
like
Hobo with a shotgun.
yeah.
Which I'm all about, and it's got Rutger Hauer, so you know that's 5 stars in my
I
house.
think Little Ward with a shotgun would be a better title. but-
Little Ward with a shotgun.
Oh, here comes Molly.
I think that's going to happen.
There you go.
I
Molly.
see a Netflix series at least. All right, we've got Molly back from where she was. Molly, we want to hear about your mom.
When your mom tests out your presents. When she was 3.
When you got your Christmas present?
Remember?
Oh, Easter.
So tell us what
Oh, it was
happened.
Easter.
It was Easter.
Okay, well, you got to
And-
wait until Easter to tell that story.
Yeah. Well,
Ignored.
on Easter I found a La La Loopsy car, and my mom we opened it up, and then I got to run it around like our family room table like twice, and my mom ran out the battery.
So you didn't get to play with it anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
I took it and played with it.
She took it and played with it until she ran the battery out.
So you tested it out for her.
Yeah, you're just you.
Which is why when I gave I sent Molly's gift up last week, and I said, do not open that package because it is not for you adults. It is for her.
Although, you know what? We want to talk about this present. So
This is the best
when
present
we start
ever.
talking about
Wait,
great.
I have to say one more that I believe.
Oh,
One that was actually
I thought you weren't on this podcast.
not on this podcast. The one year Rob got us the Barbie camper. And
Wait.
Us meaning you
One
and
year I
Rob
got
or
Molly
Molly?
the Barbie camper.
I opened it and burst into tears because I had always wanted the Barbie camper.
And who
Yeah,
played with
she-
it more?
It was a moment in our house.
I wept openly.
There was actual tears over the Barbie camper. That was.
So do you want to talk about Molly's gift?
Yeah, I want to talk about this because.
Because it's the best
Well, and it's going to
present
lead into the next
ever.
thing I want to talk about. I want to talk about like the best gift you ever got, because like for me, I talked about the Star Wars thing, but I bet I could pinpoint something that would be like amazing, right?
Right.
Or some associated with amazing. This year, so Kathy, who's doing the podcast, sent. She lives
I just
outside
wanted,
of Chicago,
Yeah,
and
and all-
had to mail the package, and said, "Don't open it."
Yeah. By the way, plug for Amazon Prime. I did all of my holiday shopping in 30 minutes on my cell phone. Just so you know.
And she sent this
Done.
package, and it came by drone. And
Yes, it
and,
did.
And she said, "Don't open it." We didn't open it. Didn't even look. Hit it. So today she comes out. She wraps it, and I thought we were opening it like at Christmas.
I
and
couldn't wait.
instead, She couldn't wait. Martha couldn't wait. Molly couldn't wait.
Molly needs to
So
see this now.
I'm downstairs editing, which is what I do. There's a glimpse into my glamorous life, and I get told, come up, we're opening presents. I'm like, oh, okay. So we go up there, and she opened the most glorious present. It
Tell-
is, yeah, and it was, yeah. It's this,
As if.
it's this science toy where you build like structures, and it has charges, and you blow up the building.
Yeah.
It's just a demolition
It's
toy.
a demolition toy.
But it's completely safe and everything, unfortunately, because it would be even more awesome if you could get.
There's no
if there could be
pyrotechnics. It just pushes the walls.
risk of glass in the eye would make it better, but it's still absolutely incredible.
The best part is you actually get to push the red button.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
do.
it's got
There's
a big
3
red
red
button
buttons
you
and
can push.
detonators, and so
And
you.
let's face it, who doesn't want to push the big red button and blow it up? Right?
Well, yeah, I can just see people buying this for work and putting it under their boss's desk.
You know what? I think Little Ward is the one who's going to be the first to pick one up. I think he's going to go home tonight and go, Amazon Prime, huh?
Sequel, Little Ward with Demolition.
Yeah. Now he's inappropriate dad. We're all familiar with you, Ward. So, Kathy, can you think of a present you got that would be awesome like that?
Demolition? Well,
I mean, demolition's that's a crowning achievement.
our house was demolition after Christmas because we had that tradition of like when you open gifts, you leave all of the wrapping paper in the middle of the floor.
And a big,
in a
plow comes in.
Well, what's funny is that we had
Pushes
3
it out of
dogs
there.
growing up, and like the piles would all of a sudden start moving because there were dogs under the piles of all of the wrapping paper. I think probably the year I got a dog for Christmas. I got a puppy one
Oh,
year.
you got a puppy?
I
Okay.
did get
How
a
old
puppy
were you when
once.
you got the puppy?
I was probably about 10. So yeah,
Very nice.
yeah, that was
We,
kind
we
of
bought
awesome.
Molly a stuffed one last year because she wanted,
we're not getting
she
a
wanted
puppy.
a puppy so bad. We're like, sure, you can have a puppy.
They
A
wanted.
stuffed
Okay, wait a
puppy.
minute.
No, see, my mom did that to me because I wanted a bird once. I wanted like a parrot, and so she got me like this little ornament with a parrot inside. I was so mad. I'm like,
What?
I will not be mocked.
Share a Christmas story.
Oh,
Is it going to put us in prison? Because we okay.
I wanted to.
I can black this out when DCFS wants to hear it, so we're
Me
okay.
and my mom wanted a Chihuahua very badly for Christmas, And my dad said, "Oh, sure, you can have a Chihuahua." And guess what he got us for Christmas? A stuffed Chihuahua.
So he didn't lie.
And guess what I'm not getting you? A real Chihuahua.
We don't want a Chihuahua anymore. The end.
See?
So
See?
it's
That's
the
what-
end.
yeah.
So it's
The end.
it all has a happy ending because we would have. What would we have done with the Chihuahua after we decided we didn't want it anymore? Okay, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
What is the one gift that you always wanted as a kid and never received?
Barbie camper.
We have a friend who bought himself stock cars when he was in his 20s.
That was
because
awesome. Our friend
Patrick.
he's Swedish, and he said when he was a kid, like we were talking about, this actually was a result of the conversation about the year with all the Star Wars toys, and he said, "Wow," he said, "you know what? I never had that Christmas." He said, "I wanted these stock cars. I always wanted these," and he said in Sweden that was like when he was a kid that was the toy
that he never got.
and he never got it. And it was after that conversation, he found this weird hobby shop that was near the store we worked at, and he's like, he bought them out. I mean, he bought tracks and cars. And
Had
like,
it
I go
all
over
through
and he's
his
just sitting there.
apartment?
Yeah, I go over to his place, and he just like, "You want to play stock cars?" I'm like, "No." Maybe if there's one that's a Star Wars stock car.
For me,
Does
it
one
was
transform? That would be awesome.
For me, it was the Barbie camper, and I have since gotten it as an adult. Kathy, did you have one?
You know
that
what? No, my mom like always went overboard and like seriously just overboard with gifts and stuff like that. There wasn't anything that I really wanted and didn't get. There was a lot of stuff that I got that I didn't even know I wanted until I got it. You know, and there was a lot of, oh, okay. No, she always really knew. She kept a list. You know, in her purse, she had a little notebook, and she kept a list of how much everything
knowing
cost.
your
So
mom,
she would
I guarantee she checked it way more than twice.
Way more than twice. And she, you know, she tried to make it so that everybody had the same number of gifts to open,
Yeah,
and
we did that
also
too.
that it was about the same amount of money
Always.
that she spent on each. Was
Always,
which,
always. My mom still does that.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we're old
Yeah,
now.
I
We don't-
really experienced it. Oh, wait a minute. I'm an only child. Let me point that out.
Right. No, but
And
I
if-
really can't think of anything that I ever asked for or wanted that I didn't get. I don't. You know, I wish she were here to tell me. You know, if there was anything that I had asked for that she couldn't do, or anything that I was upset about that. No, I don't know. Everything
about
was
you?
really fun.
That I wanted that I never got? Nope.
No, only this year.
Yeah, only as an
You
adult.
got the demolition kit. I just put Molly's name on it.
Yeah. No, really. No, Christmas was always like fantastic.
Well, I'm not saying that it wasn't,
But
but there was, for
yeah.
a lot of people, there was that one elusive
But I-
thing that the family just went, it's too big, it's ridiculous. Like, I
but
want a
I
Ferris
didn't-
wheel
well,
in the
I just-
backyard.
I didn't really
a
have
shotgun.
that.
Shotgun.
I
Well,
didn't really
you know,
have that because what I wanted was not that kind of thing. I wanted like Star Wars figures, and that was reasonable, and that was something they got me.
well, and I know my mom has gone crazy to get things for her grandkids that, you know.
You don't have
the,
neither of you.
Well, I
The
don't remember
bangs.
toys that were that elusive.
Well,
mean,
there
I'm
weren't
sure
there
both
like
look like that.
There were Cabbage Patch dolls. I think.
didn't want a Cabbage
I didn't
Patch
want that
doll.
either.
Who wants
No, but I
that?
think my sister did, and I think my mom like.
Okay, can I tell you something
went
about
crazy
Cabbage
trying to
Patch
find
dolls? Let me tell you something about that. The year that they were the biggest thing
right,
in
I'm
the
over.
world, where everybody had to have a Cabbage Patch doll, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was a junior in high school.
That's about right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I worked at KB Toys at the mall.
Yes.
It was insane with these Cabbage Patch
Oh.
dolls. People coming, like, we had to watch so they wouldn't steal them. And, you know, here I am, like, 16-year-old. I'm sorry, I have to check your ID to make sure you can buy one of them. You've already bought two, sir.
Oh.
It was the weirdest thing. And people, like, breaking into them to see what's the birth date. It's like, what? It's a Cabbage Patch doll. It's
I
not
did-
cool like a Star Wars toy.
I did want a Turbo Man.
No. Nobody wanted a Turbo Man. We got
Live one. All right.
coming up.
Awesome. This is
Coming up.
Renata. Live one.
Now, this is something that you always wanted.
This is my daughter.
Oh.
The year that Toy Story came out,
Okay. The first one.
the first one, my daughter was about 4.
Okay.
And I was working ungodly hours. I was doing ED hours, and I was doing office hours, and I was up in labor and delivery, and I could not shop. I just did not have time. So my nanny was out, and she was running around looking for Woody and
Okay.
Buzz Lightyear.
Like the big ones?
Yeah, the
regular
size ones.
Yeah.
Because that's all Amanda wanted. She did not have anything on her list other than she wanted a Woody and a Buzz Lightyear. And she went all over North Texas. She was looking all over the place. So finally we made the ditch call.
Okay.
We called Grandpa. So
Yeah, ours is called Boompa.
Boompa, right over there.
we called Grandpa. And so George, bless his heart,
That's our Boompa, too.
George gets the credit
Wait a
card.
minute, were you two-timing us and buying for them, too?
Did you have another grandpa?
George gets the credit card from my mother. He's busy as all get out. And he gets the credit card from my mother, and he says, okay, Amanda Panda's going to get her Buzz Lightyear. He hit every store. Finally, 2 days later, I get the phone call. My receptionist calls me, and she says, I've got good news for you. We have found Buzz Lightyear at Kmart in Belvedere. He is on his way. He will be sent here. And I'm like, Buzz Lightyear, what? I was
Yeah,
like,
right.
what?
Like, it's not even.
I
what is that?
I wasn't even on the same page because
Right.
that year we had 22 babies born between December 15th and December 25th.
Wow.
And we were just moving like this. I didn't even know
Or at
what
least
was.
somebody was.
Yeah.
Well, there were just two of us. And we were just delivering babies, one right after the other. I never saw home. And I got to the house, and my nanny's looking at me, and she's standing there with us, and she says, where's the 8-year-old kid that goes in the box to put this thing together? Because when it got there, it was just in pieces.
Oh, no!
And I thought, oh, boy. So I
Wait,
spent...
Buzz was in pieces?
Buzz was in pieces because he had gotten crunched by UPS.
Oh, that's why. I thought it was like it came that way because sadly I bought that big Buzz Lightyear for Martha, and it was one piece.
It's a happy time, happy place.
So here I am with rubber cement and super glue
Holy
and
cow!
surgical forceps holding this thing together. And
So it was like a
putting-
puzzle. You got a Buzz Lightyear puzzle.
I had a Buzz Lightyear puzzle at
Three-dimensional.
at 2 a.m. on Christmas morning, and I'm putting it all back together.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
But we got it together, and she still has it to this day. And she says, nobody touches my
Like Buzz.
grandpa George Buzz Lightyear.
Awesome.
Wow. That's a great
That's a
story.
great story.
So, I actually have a Christmas story that it's funny because it's not like something that I was pining away for necessarily, but when we're thinking about the stuff that like, wow, this was the one that blew you away or this was the thing you always wanted, there actually was one, and it's funny because it was such an impact on me, and I tell this, the funny part of it, all the time to people.
Okay.
So when I was I think it was 8th grade is the year this happened. My parents got me my first computer. Okay? So for you guys, like everybody has computers. Everyone has tablets and all this. Back then it was like nobody had computers. And my parents went out.
They didn't exist because we're like 80.
That's right. No, only they are.
Only they are.
But they went out and they got me an Apple II Plus. And they went out to Farnsworth Computers.
But the remote control that was still attached to the TV.
Yeah, my dad asked, do you have one of those fancy adding machines with letters on it? So they went out to Farnsworth Computers. They got this Apple II Plus. And I was stunned because, this is when, I didn't know anybody that had a computer.
Right.
None of my friends had one. This was a huge deal. And this is, guys, it's way before the internet or anything. It's like whatever programs came with, that was what you got. And they did all the research. I'm sure it was my dad did all the research because that's how he is. But I'm sure he did all the research and asked all this stuff up at Farnsworth. And he tells me, he goes, this is a really good one. This is going to last for years. Okay, we know how the computer industry is now, right? But he's like, this is going to last for years. They said this is the hottest new. It's the Apple II Plus. It had 64K of memory
Shut
in it.
up.
64K.
64?
Yeah, I think my glasses have more than that at this point. But this was a big deal. So he's like, this is the one.
Nice.
All excited. we'd go to the place to buy programs, and like 2 months later, we can't find programs for the Apple II Plus. So we finally ask, like, no, we're not talking about your iPod. So we ask about it, and we say, what's the deal with this? And the guy goes, oh, well, the Apple IIe came out 2 months after the Apple II Plus. It made my computer obsolete. It was like a 2-month-old computer. And the reason it was obsolete, this is the story I always tell people, is not that it had more memory. It had the same memory, which now would be the deal, right?
Right.
The Apple IIe had upper and lower case.
Shut up.
Yep. Mine only had uppercase. I was out. And like my dad's like, well, you could write papers on this. Nope.
Nope.
Nope. It's only uppercase. And we didn't have a printer. And knowing my dad now, he couldn't have gotten a printer hooked up to it anyway.
Aww.
But I did get Castle
Have Molly hook it up.
Wolfenstein. I did get Castle Wolfenstein, which was the most awesome game because you shot Hitler at the end.
Oh, that is good.
And I got
It's
Olympic
educational.
Decathlon, which I played endlessly. And I said, look, I'm athletic. And then and that was about the extent of it.
Yeah.
And then there was another one. Oh, and there was another game called Daiban. I'm saying it wrong. It's Taipan, but I.
Oh, Taipei. No. What?
Yeah, it's something Asian. And here's what the game was. And here's the sad thing. I probably wasted an entire year of my 46 years playing this game. It was you were a Chinese pirate ship, and it just went from port to port, and you were trading heroin.
Nice.
But
That's educational.
I didn't know what any of that was because it just said H, and you would go and you would try to sell it, or you would try to steal it from another ship, and then you take it to another port, and you try to sell it for more money, and then you take that and try to sell it here. So I was learning business in the Chinese drug trade. And that was my Apple II Plus and my biggest, but that was a huge Christmas gift that I still to this day talk about. Like, it was shocking. And I remember my friends were just like, I don't even know what to make of this thing.
Well, yeah.
My dad said it was an adding machine. That was good enough. He had a beta machine, too. That had the big cord.
Well,
yeah.
you know.
We've got more. Oh, a Christmas tragedy. Yay! That's the best thing. Are you going to cry? That's my favorite part. Oh, I hope so.
Okay. First, I just wanted to say we also got a computer early on. I have an uncle that's like computer genius. So when I was in 5th grade, we got a computer as an IBM. One of the first was 2 floppy drives.
No, we were all
right?
Apple.
Yeah. See, we weren't Apple. So, but anyway, for about 2 months before Christmas, Dad was locked in the bedroom a lot, and I vaguely
Wait, I shot
remember.
Gremlins.
Pre-internet, right?
Yes,
Wait.
pre-internet, right? Even pre-BBS for most people, right? But sorry, kids, if you don't know what that means. Yes.
Oh my God.
So he was locked away a lot, and we didn't know this until a few years later, but Mom told us that he was in there playing with the computer all the time, and in fact, it not only did they buy the computer and he played with it a lot, but it went through several upgrades between the purchase and actual getting wrapped for Christmas.
So rather than wear down the batteries, he actually improved the
He
gift.
actually added an extra floppy drive and more RAM.
That's
and
awesome.
Installed a new keyboard on it because he didn't like
Did it
the
have
touch
lowercase?
keyboard. Yes, it was a real IBM. So no, but my Christmas tragedy story, as Martha said, so it's kind of a cross between the old technology and Christmas, is that when we were kids, my dad, TVs were starting to come out. Everyone had the console TVs on the floor. Still remember the big
Oh
wooden
my
box.
gosh, yeah.
And people were starting to get TVs with remote controls. My grandparents had the first one. The reason they call it the clicker because it literally made the clicking sound
yeah,
that the
yeah.
TV
My
could
parents
hear.
still call it a
Yeah,
clicker.
you'd hear, and the channels would change. And I'd always try to imitate it and mess it, and never could. But anyway, so my dad's joke was, I'm not getting a TV with a remote. I got 2 remotes, and he'd point at me and my brother.
Right.
So I developed this habit of laying on the floor, feet towards the TV and watching TV that way, because then when Dad would say, change the channel, turn it up, I just would reach up. I got really good at changing with my toes,
You
right?
monkey toes,
Because we didn't have the click channels. It kind of spun,
Yeah.
right? It was
Right,
a
right, right.
smooth spin, right? And so one
Imagine
Christmas...
the fungus on there. I'm
Yeah,
sure
oh,
people
yeah,
got
it's-
Ebola from touching that TV.
I
after
just
you
threw
were
up a
done.
little bit.
Yeah,
amount.
I never
You're
thought about that
patient zero.
before. Yes,
Great.
exactly. So there was one...
Yeah.
Yes. So there was one Christmas, and I don't know why, other than just I was a weird little kid, but I had sat there.
Was?
And yeah, it was. Well, no, now I'm a weird big kid.
Okay.
But So I had sat there for some reason while we're watching TV, probably something my parents was watching. I didn't care about, like Dallas or Dynasty or something like that, right?
Falcon Crest.
And my mom would always
Was there
put
a bionic guy in those?
No,
Then who cares?
no, right. There was no fast jumping cars or people shooting cars and flipping over, you know,
Right.
no A-team. So anyway, so my mom had always put the loose tinsel on the tree. You know, it was the last little effect. You sprinkle the loose tinsel on.
yeah, yeah.
Well, for some reason, being a bored, weird little kid, I had tied a bunch of it around my toes. And so my toes were like mops with silver stuff on them, right? And so I'm laying there, my dad and I were watching TV, and I'm flipping my toes around, and Dad says, hey, turn the TV up. So I reach up with my foot to turn the TV up, and all the tinsel from the static went right to the screen, and there was an audible pop when that static jumped from that across the tinsel. I swear as a
Tied to your
kid,
toe.
I closed my eyes and screamed because I was for sure my foot was gone. It felt like it had exploded. I never felt
Notice
that
I
much
saw
pain
that
at that time
coming
in my life, you know?
Oh my gosh.
So, moral of the story is, kids, tinsels and TVs don't get along.
Yeah, right. That was an awesome story.
So, does anybody have food traditions that they like about Christmas? I know. Oh, okay. Come on up. Just, you want to get your wrapped around the table.
Oh.
Go this way. Yeah, there you go. Right there.
All right, this one, I'm not 100% sure if this was around Thanksgiving or Christmas.
You know what? The period
if
from
you're-
Halloween to January is Christmas now, according to the retail stores. So
I was
just go
actually
with
going to
it.
say
Yeah.
if you're wrong, your
Yeah.
dad's going to know, and that's one Christmas present taken away. So go ahead, tell your story.
Go for it.
Okay, so this happened when I was really young, and my mom and dad were like, they didn't eat too much meat.
Okay.
We were both vegetarians at the time.
Yeah, so my mom and me and my dad, we were all like vegetarians. We barely ate any meat or anything. We didn't eat meat at all. So this was, so we hadn't eaten any meat or anything, and we went over to my aunt's house. We go over there every year to celebrate Christmas and Thanksgiving and stuff. And we went over there one year, and I remember I was sitting at the table, just kind of sitting there talking with family and stuff. I was like, I don't know, like 5.
Do you want help with this story?
No,
Okay, you got it? Okay.
I can tell it.
He's taking artistic license. Give him time.
Like he was forgetting it, so I didn't know if
And then he touched the TV with his foot and it popped. Okay, there you go.
a turkey came out.
The turkey came out.
The turkey cooked itself.
All right, so so then my aunt, we call her Aunt Maya, Auntie Maya. So she comes in from the other room, like by the kitchen, like the dining table was like connected to the kitchen, and she says, "All right, well the turkey's almost done cooking, so we can eat it soon." I said, "Turkey? Who would eat a turkey?" And everybody started laughing.
Because not everybody
you
else
were
is
that
a
weird
vegetarian.
kid that had no
I get it.
idea
Yeah,
that
yeah.
everyone's eating turkey.
Was it a tofurkey? No, it was a real turkey.
When my wife, I was already a vegetarian. I have been for many, many years. And so right after Quincy was born, my wife decided to stop eating meat for a while. She just lost taste for it. So we were both vegetarian for a while. And so by the time he was like 3, he'd never eaten meat. He never saw any of us eat it. And so they were actually, as they were talking about the holiday coming up, and they were excited about eating turkey, and they're talking about eating turkey.
It's just
and
so foreign
and he's
to him.
sitting there at his high chair. We're all eating. He's eating his noodles and carrots or whatever, and he just starts giggling. He's like, "That's funny. Who would eat a turkey?" And he's just cracking up, thinking it's the funniest joke in the world. And that's when we're all like, "Oh, he doesn't realize we eat animals sometimes."
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
wow. Then it turned tragic for him.
That's what I tried to explain before my dad came and explained it better than I already had said it.
He was your
Curse
spotter.
you, father.
So yeah, we
swoop in and take over.
go on next year's Christmas.
yeah. Remember that Christmas podcast we were on when my dad came up and interrupted and made me look like a fool? Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad.
And then it's just going to turn into me and him outside punching each other in the gut.
Oh, yes.
It always goes to violence with Quincy.
You know what? We need to make a YouTube
Let me guess.
channel to
Are
see
you
that.
in-
That would be cool.
Shotgun.
The shotgun would come in handy for that.
Quincy,
So,
those are just BBs, by the way.
so this was something that was interesting at our house. My mom convinced us that Santa got milk and cookies at everybody's house, and that Santa was like borderline diabetic, and that perhaps he needed something a little bit more, and really convinced us that Santa needed wine and cheese. So, and what's funny is I told that story to my friend Alina, who said, "Oh yeah, at our house, Santa needed whiskey." So that was good. So that was good. Yeah. So that was our Christmas food tradition.
Very nice. Yeah, we put out at our place. We put out milk, cookies, carrot, cheese. We got to put out the cheese because Santa Mouse comes. The carrots for Rudolph. Forget those other reindeer. To that,
Yeah, right.
What do you put out?
Nice.
Does Santa eat it all?
Now, what do you guys have for your traditional Christmas Eve or Christmas Day dinner? Like, where who do you go with? What is it?
That's really the question.
Yeah.
Is for Christmas food, like we all have our traditions. Does anyone have any like thing that they eat at Christmas that stands out? Like for us, we have ham every year. There's nothing that stands out to me other than we have shrimp and ham and whatever. But the one that always comes up in our family is my aunt always made scalloped cream corn.
What?
Scalloped cream corn?
What is that?
Always. Every year. So if we start talking about it, that's the one that comes up. It was just scalloped corn, right? Or scalloped cream. It was creamed corn and it was scalloped. And yeah.
I'm on the
it's
scallops and
it's
I'm on the
reason
cream
for
corn, but I'm not
Lipitor.
about
We'll just
together.
put it that way. Okay, so Martha, you had something?
I was just going to say that we have, with my family, we have an entire Thanksgiving meal again on Christmas, and I'm not a real big
Oh no,
fan.
it's crazy.
But it's not turducken like we have on.
Yeah, we
you
have
know,
turducken on
turducken.
Thanksgiving.
But we have turkey and
And it's so bad that now this happened at Thanksgiving, but it very well could be Christmas also. One time I ate so much that Martha's sister made me walk around the block because she thought I was going to die because I had eaten so much. I was getting sweaty and I was already at the unbuckled pants stage. I don't do that so bad now. So
Roast Christmas during while the eating has me, I'll tell you.
okay, but you're in line now, mister.
Fine.
I'll let you
Renata?
You got one?
decide if you have the energy for it.
Imagine growing up in a big Italian family.
Hold on, I'm
Where-
imagining it.
Okay.
I love garlic, so I know that
Well-
was happening.
You start eating on Christmas Eve morning.
Yep.
With panettone French toast. With pancetta.
Listen to this.
And then we have what we call sort of lunch, where you have cioppino, and then you have the feast.
Wait,
of-
what's cioppino? Is that something that Eric Estrada
Cioppino-
made up?
No, cioppino is.
No laugh at an Eric Estrada joke? Come on, chips. All right.
Cioppino is.
At least I wasn't booed.
It's seafood soup. And
Seafood soup sounds good.
yeah, it has mussels and clams.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
and
Broth?
broth and
Oh.
shrimp and all of that. And then you sit down that night before you go to church at midnight.
I'd like to order some cioppino
for-
soup right now, please.
For the Feast of Seven Fishes.
Yes.
So more seafood.
So more
Yes.
seafood. But you're not now. See, the thing is you're not supposed to have anything to eat before you go to communion.
Well, that's not really eating. That's fish.
No, that's eating.
It's like when you go to McDonald's and you get a fillet of fish. It's healthy because
It's not fish.
There's nothing healthy at McDonald's. I'm just
And
going to
then-
say that right now.
And then you get up the next morning and go to church at 6 a.m. And then you come home to a 5-course breakfast.
Oh,
And then
wait, what's your address? Let me write this down.
and then you sit down at 6 o'clock the next night and have not only turkey but lamb
Oh, I
and
love-
lasagna. And zuppa and ensalada, and you eat and you eat and you eat and
That's fantastic.
And no one wants a skinny Santa.
And then, Kathy, you wonder why I was chubby all the time I was in high school.
Hey.
Because we celebrate that like that for 12 days.
It's awesome.
And our last big meal is on January 6th on Epiphany.
Technically, everything was training up to that point,
Right.
then, right? So that by the 6th, you could really have a meal.
Like Rocky.
Yeah.
Right, it's
yeah.
like Rocky. You have to eat some raw eggs. You got to
And
run up
every
some
time
steps.
somebody comes in the house, the first thing they say to you is, "Are you hungry?
Are you hungry? Are you hungry?
So it's more like 25 pounds of Christmas.
Yeah. That's the way it works.
That 25 pounds of
It's
Christmas.
a 25 pounds of Christmas. And
Wow.
You have there are cookie spreads out, and you also you always have the priest over at least once or twice during the time that he's there, and you have the nuns over one day, and you make sure that you take food to the rectory at least twice while you're during that time. My poor family, all I saw was food for months. I just felt like that's. And then, of course, I had made the mistake of being born 3 days after Epiphany, so that was just yet another reason to have more food, because we had to have festa on my day.
Okay, I have an Italian meal story for you that is related to the holidays. I don't know. Yes, I don't know if it's Christmas or Thanksgiving, but it was a holiday, and someone I know grew up in a big Italian family, always lots of food, just like you were describing, right? Mm-hmm. And he said one day he comes home, the whole family's going to be over because it's like they're having a Christmas meal or something. And he said he comes home and he says that he can smell it as he's coming up to the house. He's like, oh my gosh, it's this amazing smell coming from the house. And he said he gets in and he said, there's something in the oven that is just, the smell is just astounding. And he's, an eater, and he's just like, oh my gosh. And he said, Mom, what's in the oven? No, you don't look, it's a surprise. Uncle Al brought it, whatever. Finally he said he can't take it, and he's just, oh my gosh. So they sit down for the meal, and he's just dying to see what this amazing thing is. Because there's all the pastas and the fish and all this stuff, but there's something. And he said, in comes Uncle Al with this tray, and it's got the thing over it, and he's like, look, here it is. Uncle Al brought this delicacy. He puts it down, he opens the lid, and it's a goat head.
Oh, yeah.
With eyeballs and tongue and teeth and bits of hair.
Yep.
And he said he was horrified, and he said Uncle Al takes his fork and goes right into the eyeball.
Yep.
And eats it and goes, wow.
See, you just trumped my story, because I was. Yeah, go ahead. You finish, and then I'll tell you mine.
That's it. It's the worst thing. Imagine that on Christmas.
Well, see, I live in Miami, and my family's all scattered. Nobody lives there, down there with me. I'm down there by myself. So I spend Christmas with Christmas Eve, Noche Buena, with my friend Ricky and his big Cuban family. And they have the lechon, which is the whole pig.
Yeah. Now, do they do it where they bury it in the ground? I know I've talked to Ricky about this, but I can't remember. I know that he said.
I don't know if they bury it. I mean, a lot of people do bury it in the ground, but I'm not sure if Ricky's family does.
We're going to have to do an input junkie just
with
about
Ricky's,
different techniques of barbecuing and have Ricky.
So then you
animals
show
cooked
up
in the
and the pig's like laying there on the table looking at you. And then Ricky's cousin,
it's awesome.
Ricky's nephew Eddie is the one who always battles for the eyeballs, and he eats the eyeballs.
Yeah, I'm not down with the eyeballs or
No,
the brain.
it's kinda bad.
I was actually the carver. I was like the head grill guy for a while for a catering company, and I was the carver. So I'd have to ride out with the pig roast and carve it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And you've got the snout and the hairs and all this stuff.
Yeah, and then you're picking at the carcass all night long.
The first one that I did, though, I went through a period where I wouldn't eat pig. And I know for you bacon lovers that's an offense, but there's something weird about pig. And I had a problem with it for a little bit. And then I had to do this pig roast.
Yep.
And I said to Byron, the catering owner, I was like, dude, I'm happy to grill everything and carve everything, but I don't know if I can do this pig roast. He's like, you're going to do it, and by the time you come back, you're going to be eating pig. I'm like, nope, not a chance. He goes, there's this sweet little area, and he shows me. It's rib meat, basically, but he goes, you will never get this unless you're the guy carving it. Because every guy that carves a pig carves this little piece out and pulls it for themselves, and no one other than a guy carving it ever tastes this piece. Yeah. And it's like bacony, buttery
goodness.
Yeah.
It's
basically
so
when you take a bite, like the heavens open up, the Apple IIe falls in your lap. It's this
with the
amazing. You get a shotgun. It's like everything. Yeah, it's incredible. So, Ward, I want to hear.
And then I have one more food story.
Oh my gosh, so much filibustering about food. Welcome to the Food Channel. I'm Rachel Ray.
Okay, first I just want to say as a vegetarian that grossed me out more than the thing I'm going to say coming up here. I find gross.
I was a vegetarian
we'll see.
for breakfast one day, and then I went and I got something with
that
me
day you fasted. You were a vegetarian.
Yes. It was that day, and then at lunch I had a ham sandwich.
Yes. Okay, so I have a Christmas story that also it covers two things in one shot here. It's the food-related tradition as well as being sick one Christmas.
Sick of Christmas is always special.
Yeah, so I'll start off, and this is a couple years after the Shotgun Christmas.
The Shotgun Christmas. I see another TV movie.
So let me start off by saying
As opposed to Shotgun Christmas Wedding.
Yes.
Oh, that's a reality show. That'd be awesome.
So I have an aunt who is just an unbelievable cook. Like, she should have been a professional chef. She's just amazing cook. And the thing that she always made every Christmas that to this day, and I can't have it now because I can't eat wheat anymore, but to this day I still dream about it, and it's her red velvet cake.
Yeah, red
like
velvet's
I've never,
awesome.
and red velvet's awesome, but you've not had red velvet, and you've had my aunt's. I mean, she must put like 70 sticks of butter in it or something, because it's just,
Absolutely.
it's like
Red velvet
it
tres leches
hits
is
your
what it is.
mouth and
Oh,
it just
red velvet tres
melts. I
leches.
mean, it's amazing. Like I'm salivating talking about it. But anyway,
Yeah, it's like a
so-
Gallagher show over here. I got to get a big plastic thing.
yeah,
to cover
exactly,
myself.
exactly.
the
Sorry,
splash
front
zone?
row, if you get a little wet. So there was a Christmas, I around 12 maybe, and I was starting to get into music, and I had asked for the new Motley Crue "Shout at the Devil" album, right? And so I get this for Christmas.
Nothing says Christmas like Motley Crue Shout at the Devil.
Exactly, which I love telling that part of the story just because of that. But so I wake up that Christmas and I don't feel good to start with. I keep saying my stomach's upset, and my parents are like, "Oh, you'll be okay. Push through it. It's Christmas." And
Push
so
through it might be the operative phrase here. Here it comes.
you just hold on. And so after we open our presents in the morning, the tradition is the whole family goes over to my great-grandparents' house, and we have a big meal, Aunt Gert's red velvet cake, which is mostly what I eat. And we're just, I'm not a vegetarian at this time, but I'm a kid. But anyway, so my parents are getting ready to go, and I don't feel good, so I'm laying on the couch, and I'm listening to Shout at the Devil, and I'm laying there, and I'm feeling gassy. And for some reason, as a kid, I decided to start kind of forcefully passing gas with shout, because there's this repeated shout in the song. And on the fourth
We're gonna be
shout,
doing that during the sing-along.
yeah,
so.
on the fourth shout,
God.
I regretted the pushing along with the gas with the. So there was an emergency cleaning of me and the couch and going out, right? Okay. So we recover from this, right?
Merry Christmas,
Yes, there was
everyone.
shout involved, but it was the spray-on kind.
Nice.
So we all
Either that or
recover
you
from
misspelled
this.
Shout. You misunderstood what he was saying.
Exactly.
You did
Yes.
something at the devil, that's for
Left
sure.
a couple letters out. No. So anyway, we recover from this. I still don't feel good, but they give me the pep talk. We're still going to go to Grandma and Grandpa's, do Christmas. You can, hey, Santa's going by again. And so we go to Grandpa and Grandma's, and I don't feel good. I lay on the floor, and I start to feel a little bit better later, and I decide I need to eat something. So of course, being a kid, I say, rather than eat real food, I'm going to eat a piece of Aunt Gert's red velvet cake because it's awesome, and that might be the only thing I eat today because I don't feel good, right? So I eat that, and about 20 minutes later, I do not feel good
It's
at
called
all.
hair of
Like,
the
I
dog,
feel there's,
so.
yeah, it was, and something was coming on, and I was like, I ran to the bathroom, and at that point was when you realize I have the flu, and it was the kind of flu where, I'm just going to say it, things come out both ends, right?
Oh, I just threw up.
So I'm red velvet cake one end on toilet, the bathtub's next to me. It was a disgusting afternoon, right? Of course, I'm not smart enough to only eat one piece of red velvet cake and go through that and be done for the day. No, in about 3 hours later, because it's all day at Grandma and Grandpa's, about 3 hours later, I'm feeling a lot better. So I decide I didn't really get to have that red velvet cake because I didn't keep it down. Exactly. So I have a little soda. All right, I kept that down. Another giant piece of red velvet cake. Repeat of the morning. So that was the red velvet Christmas.
Wow,
Okay, wait.
so many TV movies we're going to make.
Renata back here just said, when you said the first part about the shout she said this
Shout
is why
at the devil.
Italians cover their furniture in plastic.
Exactly. So Italian food for Christmas for us when I was growing up, my mom used to do a big meal. I think we used to do ham or something like that. And at one point when we were kids and we weren't old enough to be in the kitchen, and my grandmother would come over but wouldn't really help my mom do dinner or anything like that. My mom just kind of said, kids, this is a lot of work for me and I don't get to enjoy Christmas. What do you guys want to do for Christmas dinner? And we were like, frozen pizza on paper plates. And that's what we had for Christmas dinner for many, many years, was frozen pizza on paper plates, and then we just throw everything away and get back to the business at hand.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very
And we
nice.
were totally happy with that.
Yeah. All right. You know what?
It's time to sing.
Yeah, we are going to
It's time
end
to sing
this episode of Input Junkie. This is actually part 1 of Input Junkie. We are going to go into our next segment, and then when we come back for part 2, we'll do movies, TV shows, we'll do some memories. But that's it for this episode of Input Junkie. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everyone.